of engage with Lee Sin as well. You can wombo combo them, take them down. It's a pretty good spot for them to be in. And now BRU, they have to make an active decision. They need to find some kind of disengage because so far they have a lot of going in, but they don't have ways to stop Divine Esports from just running them over.
Yeah, I agree with you, and both of the drafts so far are looking really, really good. I'm quite curious about where this flex pick Jarvan is going to end up. It's a nice adaptation on the red side, and I want to see what the blue side picks to close this one out is. 6+1 is going to likely be the answer. You typically will just see Hope 1 be the late game insurance plan like we always talk about, while his team tries to do work on the other side of the map. And while most teams will tend to favor the Galio in support position, wait a minute, we are going to see Galio Kai'Sa and Coyote is going to be on the 6. A different approach from what they normally take. I thought they would want to answer global with global, but they're answering global with control mage scaling, which is a fine answer in itself, but it's a bit of a deviance from how Divide would normally play this out.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the Kai'Sa bot side. You know, Kai'Sa Galio, it does decently into the Varus Nami matchup, but honestly, it doesn't gain much more information or much more of an advantage down towards that Dragon lane. It really just kind of gives me the idea that Divine Esports are going to play for something different in the early game. Maybe going to start rotating early, maybe even lane swap. You know, that's just kind of the feels that I'm getting from what Divine Esports are trying to play for.
I think this is going to be a Gragas jungle here, one of the first that we've seen in this entire tournament. This is a pick which is a bit under the radar right now, but I think that Shiba is actually going to play this because it's a good matchup into the Lee Sin. And to touch very quickly on the Kai'Sa Galio point, right? This lane actually gets bullied so incredibly hard by Varus Nami, and the only way you can win this lane is if you find an opportunity to engage on them and they don't react in time, and you kill them with your jungle.
Exciting times. I'm just stunned by the cohesion of this draft, where the pivot came out in those final 2 picks really for either side to say, where's this Galio going? What are you going to answer back with? What is that Jarvan about to do? Is it going to be the top, the jungle, or where might it be found? The fact that the Gragas is coming out, you no doubt bring up that graphic in just a second to sort of see the exact format of how these compositions do break down. But I'm quite impressed by this one. The fact that the Galio could have been that sort of traditional first 3 picks of the Lee Sin, Renekton, and that global, which has been devastating so far because wherever that jungler goes, the ultimate follows quite soon after. And what might appear to be sort of the gentleman's agreement of it's just a 1v1, oh, hang on a minute, I'm getting ganked. No, it's not 2v1. Suddenly 3 people have showed up to your lane. They're not just killing you, they're taking your wave, they're taking turret plates. They're obliterating your lane state so much so that we've seen sometimes you're returning back to lane. You're down 2 levels, Omo.
Yeah, it's really brutal, and I like to see it when teams set up for the stacked waves, and if you respect it and you back off, you're just gonna lose 2 to 3 waves and like tower plates while you're at it. So I think that's a really good point as well, right? Even if you don't die, you really need your teammates to be able to cover you or trade for even more on the other side of the map. So there's a lot of these little things we have to take into account. I think we have some pretty good neutralizer lanes from both of these teams, so I think we're only gonna see the real action start to begin around the Dragons.
Well, let's bring up that final pick screen now, and let's actually see now, confirmed how these comps do break out. It's not going to be the Gragas in the jungle. It's not happening here today, but it will be a Renekton in the jungle, which is exciting. So we are really pivoting through every kind of possibility, and hang on a minute.
Wait, that's not right.
Kai'Sa Ziggs in the bot lane.
That
looks a little bit troll. Granted, I know you have maybe one of the biggest brains, but this might be the biggest pivot of all pivots.
Yeah, this is a pivot. Yeah, I don't even know how to describe this anymore. It seems like Divine Esports and BURIRAM United, if this is true, this is absolutely wild. I have no idea what they're trying to go for.
Well, let's throw it over to our casting team because they're going to be baffled just as much as us. It's time to get excited. It's time for your very first final here in day number 6. TJ and Riku, take it away.
I don't want to take it, Skimmy. If possible, you could keep it. This is one of the craziest drafts I've ever seen, Riku.
Yeah, I'm shaking my head right now, and it's going to be very, very interesting. We kept hyping Len to be one of the best Lee Sin players in the tournament, and now it's going to be towards 10x. Len bringing in this Renekton in the grand finals for this bracket. I don't know what's going to happen, and I'm excited to find out.
So here is my question. Is this Len playing Renekton in the top lane, or is this Tarnax playing Lee Sin in the top lane? Because I can see a world in which Tarnax is jungling. No, okay, all right.
There we go.
The picks were off on the screen. We're just looking at the sanity is a little bit restored as we recover from whatever technical glitch that was, and this looks much more sensible.
Yeah, this is definitely like everything is right in the world again. So Len, again, a very killer jungler for Divine Esports. We're looking at him strong-arming his way through the early game. But I think the biggest difference is usually Coyote picks something that complements Len for the setups, for the invades. But this time around, he's on a Ziggs. He's on a Ziggs up against this Twisted Fate. So meaning Arshani, every single time he has to go Destiny, it has to count. Or else they're going to suffer, they're going to lose a tower.
Because Ziggs, of course, is burning through that lane, right, Riku? The wave clear is intense. One of the other things we need to watch during this early game is the presence of Len on Lee Sin, who's already in lane. Not finding value, but Scarron support her back in these level 2 fights that Lee Sin can kind of uniquely go for.
Exactly, he's able to burn supporters, flash, and heal. So I can't imagine Len can make a second visit. This is the Len game, right? Pre 4 minutes, we will see proactive movement, possibly trying to find an invade, possibly trying to find picks, even without the Dragon's Rage.
Bracket A finals, and Len gets his signature pick. Tarnex gets his signature pick. Divine Esports have it made. They have, of course, given over to BURIRAM that Twisted Fate, that Varus, those power picks, and they're playing around the Jarvan, kind of a kettle composition, right, Riku?
Yeah, this kettle composition, you know, Cataclysm, always great for a setup for Kinemon here on this Varus. You basically try to trap the Kai'Sa, try to trap the Ziggs, and then you funnel in all your damage, funnel in all your poke. It's just perfect.
And they have a lot of stuff that kind of goes on top of that Cataclysm. It's, of course, not just the Varus arrows. It's also, you can throw in Noelle's casks as the Gragas. You can dump in Archani's AoE abilities. It's really scary if Shiba finds a good Cataclysm. And I like that you call out the target onto Hope 1, because I think that's one of the things that we need to look for is who is he targeting? Hope 1, Coyote, kind of the only 2 viable targets on the backline of Divine.
Well, Kinemon will definitely use the Chain of Corruptions defensively. When Tarnex and Len, and as well as Quay, they're very linear. All they do is definitely going to go towards the back line, see if they can pick up Kinemon, and that's the time you can immediately use your Chain of Corruptions for that punish potential, and the fact that there's a possible bubble that will follow through and a gold card. So Divine Esports should really make sure if they dive in, they have to secure that kill or else they're going to get punished.
So, what I think all of this means is we have managed to catch up with what's going on in the draft, is that this should be a wild game 1 in this best of 5 Bracket A final.
And we might even see an early fight as well, or an attempt coming from Len to get a pick before the Infernal Drake.
Gold card equipped, Archani knows it's coming, does land the stun, but he's in real trouble, and that flash from Archani barely gets him to safety. The red buff nearly taking a chunk out of Archani's HP. He barely survives the combo, will have to back away from the mid lane.
And this is perfect. No flash, no barrier on the Twisted Fate.
Len!
Oh,
He steals it! He misses the flash, but it doesn't matter. It's fine, Rick.
Len is just flexing here. He's so comfortable on this Lee Sin. It's crazy. Shiba couldn't really do anything after that invade in the jungle.
Ripping away Shiba's buff. That would have been the fastest steal in the West. He would have gone in there and flashed over. That would have been incredible, but he kind of missed the flash, came a little short. But he still stole away the buff and got away. And Shiba is now behind in gold. He's going to try and use this timing, it looks like.
And this is very awkward because, yeah, no red buff, no flash and barrier. This is going to be awkward for the carries.
Destiny popped for vision, so BURIRAM know where Divine are, all of them. They know they're in a 5v5. Len over the wall, goes for the fight, knocked away by the cask, steals the dragon! Noelle in the front lines gets burned down, and all of Divine slip back away into the night as quickly as they came. They've stolen the dragon, stolen a kill, and walked back to their side of the map.
Yeah, I love it. You know, Divine just did what they came for and then just skedaddled out of there. They know that they're still waiting for Coyote and Hope 1 to be able to get that scaling. So, you know, after getting the Infernal, it's mission accomplished. Back to the farming, back for Len to find picks elsewhere, and back to pressuring Arshani most likely, and as well as Kinemon.
All right, boys, it's time to skedaddle.
And that's what they did.
Noel in region here trying to get something. Oh, wow. Sheba over the wall contesting this Rift Herald. And he's bringing the team. It's a good tidal wave. Quay on the front lines ties up the action here on the Drake. It's again picked up by Len. The Herald to Len. Quay goes down in exchange for Noel. Sheba dives further forward, but Coyote holds strong, and he's got back up, and he throws the Mega Inferno Bomb, nearly shutting down Kinemon as well. And Divine have accelerated through this early game.
Exactly. Divine, particularly Len, the way that he just nonchalantly goes into the fight, no threat whatsoever, isn't exactly punished by either ults like the Chain of Corruptions, maybe even the gold card, maybe even a bubble. It was just Len going in and getting out again in 2 in a row.
Track him in this fight, track Len's movement, because he doesn't show, he doesn't step up visibly until the Herald is low. Then he takes minimal risks, he goes in, he saves Tarn X, and just walks away. No risks taken. Len knows he needs to be safe.
Yeah, he came in with the cooldowns all off.
With a dive here on the bottom lane, right out of the replay, Rika. And this turret will fall as Divine are still pressing forwards. Nobody dies from BURIRAM, but yet more gold into Divine's pocket.
Now this is crazy. I remember, TJ, you talked about this yesterday, the cooldown management, the tracking of the cooldowns, knowing the fact that the gold card, the bubble, the important ults like the Chain of Corruptions are gone. That's the time Len can breathe a little easy. That's why he can nonchalantly just go into these objectives. And I really like how Divine is able to get that First Blood Tower whilst, while keeping the Rift Herald intact. They're most likely going to open up top side to get more space. Mid lane can be handled by Coyote anytime.
Look at that. Quite just generously gave Hope 1 the ward. That's 10 gold. Find yourself a support who will do that. Quay into the front lines here. Does find a double stun, and they're calling for backup. All of Divine in the area. Len.
Oh no!
Ooh. Explosive cast will land. He'll go into stasis to survive. Flash away. He's out.
Taunt?
The tidal wave does catch Quay, and Quay is incredibly low, but he's able to survive. Nobody from Divine dies. That's 3 ults forced from BURIRAM. An incredibly awkward engage, but they can't punish it.
Exactly. That was 3 ults in exchange for, well, 2 ults in exchange for just 1 with a Mega Inferno Bomb, but Len again sidesteps the Chain of Corruptions. And again, this ult coming from Kinemon is so critical to punishing Len's aggression because the bubble is going to be very hard to land. So Arshini actually should be present for the gold card to set up for that Chain of Corruptions for a sure CC.
And Divine are looking incredible here as we approach this next dragon. BURIRAM are recalling, so they're not going to be able to fight for it. Divine look insane. They look like one of the best teams in the world.
Yeah, they look really, really solid. Again, when I look at these teams, they remind me heavily of the way that EVOS Esports, the champion team from the Summer Super Cup, the way that they play around Len in the jungle. Little bit similar to Valdez. This could be a fight, though. Not.
BURIRAM would have to be real scrappy to take these fights because they don't gain anything from it. So, yeah, they're going to back away. Good call. Whoa, wait, Riku, they remind you of EVOS. The team that won the Summer Super Cup, the Thai team. Divine Esports reminds you of them.
Yes, exactly. And it's the way that Len plays reminds me of Valdez. Very aggressive, very mechanically confident and skilled in all of these flashy early game junglers. And Coyote reminds me of G4 a little bit because Coyote's champ pool is insanely deep and can play anything what the team needs. Either they want to complement Len in the early game with utility, or, get that scaling on the board. Really reminds me of G4. And the thing is, BURIRAM is the 2nd seed coming from Thailand, and they couldn't beat EVOS. It was a 1-4, I believe, in their finale. So I can see why BURIRAM will really struggle against Divine's playstyle.
Yeah, Divine really leveraging that mid-jungle playstyle. I can see the comparison to Valdez and G4 in Len and Coyote. And as you said, BURIRAM have proven vulnerable. Wow, Quay taunting the arrow with that heroic entrance. Very good. Or the Justice Punch, rather.
It's the zoning. It's definitely not going to be enough. I mean, for BURIRAM United to have this really good engage, I feel like they're more leaning towards waiting for Divine to come in and not them having to engage first. I mean, they do have Shiba, they do have Noel, but at this point, they're going to be leaning towards more of that punish. We'll see, though.
Divine, Quay looking for an angle. Supporter, who's been very good on these bubbles, not just this game, but this tournament, was ready for the engage. It didn't come.
Yeah, I wasn't able to get that land in, get that CC lock. Again, Divine has been... Oh, they're fine. It's 10x. Yeah, for Kinemon, though, he has already Muramana intact, so the piercing arrows are going to hurt even more. But the biggest question is, will Divine even allow that dance in the lane?
Archony has to gold card Len to survive there, but he does, and he's roaming up towards the top side to try and clear out this wave. More poke onto Len as the tidal wave does come out. Quay's able to back away, caught inside the bubble. Quay gone. Cataclysm from Shiba confirms the kill, but that means that BURIRAM are lights on engage, so a flash over the wall will save Hope 1. He's able to get out to safety, and BURIRAM can't follow up.
They can't follow up at all. I mean, Kinemon's ult unfortunately missed. And now BRU doesn't really have that reach, and Tanex is able to get a lot of chip damage away from this tower. We'll see if Divine can deny this tower taken mid.
Yeah, this is very much good gold for Divine, but Tan... Wow! He's huge! Supporter's just gone! Tan keeps going! Shiba isolated by Len! Flash away! He'll survive! But BURIRAM lose their entire bottom lane as the Crocodile shows up to play.
Yeah, that's a really good collapse, a really good flank coming from Tanex. He was just so busy creating damage at the bottom portion of the map.
You gotta admire the effort, but, well, simply doesn't have the damage. And so Divine take the Baron. First 2 Drakes in their pocket, another in 15. A several thousand gold lead. This game looks very good for the Vietnamese region side.
Divine looks so they're looking to take the 3rd dragon of the game. I think the biggest question is BURIRAM. They weren't able to get Arshani on board with the Destinies at all. So now they're going to be struggling. If they can find a pick, they can win the next fight.
Quay has to back away. It's all about those gold cards then. And there it is. Coyote found out. He's into stasis. Heroic entrance from Quay will try to save him and fail. Shiba able to poke in the arrow from Kinemon. It does the work they need. Noel and Shiba will be able to back away, get away. Here's Tanex, gold carded, stunned up inside the bubble. He's in trouble, but he turns onto Shiba and finds a kill. Tanex has so much damage, and BURIRAM get the pick, but they lose the fight immediately afterwards. That's an inhibitor. 2 turrets deleted in the mid lane.
And that could have been the opportunity. You know, Coyote was gone immediately. But at the same time, Tanex was just lingering around for another flank to set. And unfortunately, BURIRAM is not prepared for that at all. The only disengage that they have is for sure the Cask. A supporter would really want to use the tidal wave as a form of engage. And now, 3rd dragon for Divine. Easy.
Yeah, they pick up all 3. They use the Baron successfully to break an inhibitor. This is the best Divine esports we've seen in this tournament, and that means a lot because we predicted them to go very far in this tournament. I think for the first time, this is a Divine esports that live up to those expectations.
Exactly. Divine had a very rough start when they went up against Boom. Is Len going for it? No.
My God. The man knows no fear.
It was, I mean, Len could have eaten a gold card, but he's going to be braver. He has stasis. He has Guardian Angel. There's so many second life chances for Len in the next fight.
They're going to bring the wave for that next fight down the top lane right now. Divine know with 2 turrets down, the game is surely over. But they've not quite got what they need to break through the wave clear available to BURIRAM.
Yeah, BURIRAM at least have Destiny. Where
Now
is
Shiva
that?
looking for something. Len's kind of cut off here, and Archony spots that gold card. Tidal Wave. Len into stasis. Here's Tanex to save his jungler, and an excellent mega for the bomb. Heroic entrance over the top. Resets the fight for Divine. Todd keeps going. He's cleaned up Kinnamon. The bot lane's deleted again. And what a dive. So far back from Len. He's going to respawn out of his GA just as Divine break the Nexus and go up 1-0 in